I lost 14 games of ranked in a row. Here's what I learned. Now on stream the other day, I was going into a play session where I just fell out of Grandmaster 1, 5 and 5 deranked me to GM3. Don't know why, not important. I was sitting at 4 and 1 on my block and I only had 1 win to go. And I said, hey chat, we got 1 win, no big deal. We're gonna get that win really quickly and go swap roles and do something else. And we proceeded to lose 14 games in a freaking row. And it deranked me. Because I was 4 and 1, and then 4 and 15 actually will give you a ranked reset from GM3 down to Masters 2. So, am I boosted? Probably. But what is more important is what went wrong. How did I get on the biggest loss streak ever, and what can you learn from it? Yeah, let's jump into it. Now, the first thing that I did wrong is I went into it already super jaded. We've all been there at 4 and 1, knowing that we're probably not gonna get that win, right? We all have been there, and we're already like pre-salty about it. And I was a little pre-salty. I was like, if this 4-1 turns into a 5 and 5, I'll be a little bit mad. Well, guess what? It went a lot worse than 5 and 5, I'll tell you that. But right off the bat, set yourself up mentally to actually succeed. Don't allow yourself to fall into this ideology that there's gonna be a loss streak or you can't possibly win a certain amount more in a row. Go into every game with a fresh mind with the goal to win, which is what I should have done. Now, the next big mistake, and something that a lot of players do wrong that gets them on these huge loss streaks, is they don't warm up properly. I have told everyone that you need to be thoroughly warming up before you jump into a game on stream. And to explain why this matters so much, let's say you play 10 games a day, and if you were perfectly warmed up for all 10 of those games, you would win 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, which would put you in a positive win rate and you would climb. But if you lose between 2 to 3, then you will actually be in a negative win rate. Now, that doesn't justify 14 games in a row lost, but I honestly just felt a little bit off that day, and I just grinded anyways. Didn't do enough warm-up and jumped right in because I wanted to get started. And you gotta understand that sometimes you can be mechanically off for a number of different reasons. Soreness from working out, sitting position, tiredness, or anything, and it's important to identify these signs early and perhaps step away so that you don't go on the biggest loss streak ever. Now, the next big mistake that I made, and a lot of people make this mistake, is I had my mind already moving on because my plan was that I would get that 1 win, go 5 and 1 or 5 and 2 or whatever, and then I told Chad I would move on and go play tank because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to play DPS for the day. I wanted to play tank for the day. My mind was already on Doomfist, okay? My mind was ready to get abused on Doomfist, and yeah, that never happened. I never played tank that day. I just spent 6 hours losing. And because I already had another plan, like I already assumed that the game was won or the game would be won eventually, I didn't really warm up thoroughly in the same way that I normally would, where I make sure I hit all my shots on Hanzo, I make sure that I'm mechanically clean and consistent on Genji, I make sure I can blade well. I didn't really do all that. I just kind of jumped in when I knew that those things were off, and I already had a mind of moving on, not really focusing on the mistakes or improving from game to game like I normally do. I just was like, oh, I'll win eventually. I'll get that win. So I was just kind of autopiloting, running through these games. Oh, whatever. Another one. Oh, whatever. We'll get another one. And that just cycle just, kind of cascaded on itself, and I never really won. I think this really also brings to another point. It's always that one win that gets so many people where they're like 1 win away from a reset and they just can't end it. So they just keep playing and losing and losing and losing. And they're getting more and more tilted, and they're not willing to just walk away. Remember that the game will still be there the next day. You can just refresh, take a nap, relax, and you can get those dubs tomorrow. No worries. Don't force through these games, because a lot of the time, those games that you force through, or those games that you feel extra tense to win, those are going to be the ones that you lose the most. Now, the next reason why I went on this giant loss streak besides being boosted is that I was not focused 100% on the game. Those of you who come by my streams know that I literally talk to chat 24/7. I don't miss a comment. But this caused me not to pay attention enough in between fights. I was not thinking about winning. I wasn't thinking about the win condition. I wasn't tracking ultimates. All the stuff that I normally would be doing, I wasn't doing it all because I was filling it trying to entertain chat. And while this might not be your scenario, You gotta understand that anything going on outside of the game can be distraction for inside the game. This could be craziness going on in your house. This could be stress. This could be other random problems. This could be you being hungry. Anything that is taking you out of the zone can make it so that you're not performing optimally. And if you don't fix those set conditions, you will continue to not perform optimally. So if it's something that you actually have control over and it's something that you can actually get done before you grind, it's probably better to get it done with sooner rather than later so that it's off your plate and out of your mind and you can actually perform and play your best in game. Now the next one, and this one's the most important one, a lot of people don't get this right, is I wouldn't walk away. When you lose that much, subconsciously, you will start playing worse and worse. And for many, that means tilt. Now, I didn't really get tilt as much as I became apathetic to my rank. Regardless of whether you're apathetic, tilted, or anything in between, if you don't walk away, you're just gonna lose all your freaking games. And it can become a vicious cycle where if you don't know when to walk away, you don't know when to stop grinding, you're gonna burn away all that progress that you made trying to climb to a rank that you want to get to. I should have stopped playing after a certain amount of losses in a row, moved on to a different role regardless of the win, moved on to an ult, or literally anything else, but I just kept grinding like a gambler, doubling down on a loss over and over again, trying to get out of debt. Now, why did I make this video? Probably to help me a little bit mentally after all those losses. At least from my tragic failures, y'all can learn something and learn to be better than me in a lot of ways. So yeah, thank you so much for being a part of my story time plus educational guide. Let me know if you liked it, smash the like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.